Holy crap. They're actually giving out grails. Well, I mean, that's really nice. Guys, 3.9 is now available, and with it, of course, comes Heroes Path, which I have to say is probably the best new player experience for those who want to get into the game. Not only does it give you a free thing, you know, just instantly. I logged on, got a Reinhardt. That was nice. But it also gives you a bunch of orbs, a bunch of other stuff, including grails. It's quite impressive, honestly. Go download it in case you haven't already. Seriously. And get to work. I'm definitely going to get to work on this. I mean, I only have to level up an ally. That won't be difficult. But you're probably not only here for Heroes Path. We're also going to be talking about those weapon refines and those 6/6 stats for those new characters. And let me just say, you're not going to want to sit around on these ones. So let's start off with Roy, and this is not the Roy I usually use, but oh well. So, really what happens here is that I have to say Blazing Durandal and Garrus Gogol both got some really great changes this go around, and I was kind of wondering how this was going to go. So, normally Blazing Durandal has the Heavy Blade effect, meaning you have to have more attack than your foe to get that special cooldown charge reduction. But when you refine it, be it into attack or its special effect or whatever you're going into, it will drop the attack restriction and just gain it anyways. Additionally, when you attack, you'll also have a special cooldown charge -1, meaning that you have a guard-like effect on your attacks. So, yeah, you're going to be gaining specials, and your opponents are going to have to wait a little bit longer for theirs. That is quite substantial. But then, when you refine it into its special effects, it grants him, as long as he's initiating combat, speed +7, defense +10, and the foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, Jesus Christ. That right there just scares the crap out of me. But then we have Lucina, who I have not used in ages. Yeah, by that time I was pretty much on to Lucas. But anyways, Garrus Gogol definitely got a huge improvement. So, outside of its base effects, when you actually refine it this time, it will gain a Dragon Killer. Well, Dragon Killer. It just gains Dragon Killer. I can't really say much else. But also, if you refine it into its additional effect, it will give defense and res +3, you know, just the same as its base effects, but now it gains all 3, you know, gains 3 to all stats, you know, to allies within 2 spaces during combat, and it also grants special cooldown charge +1 to allies who are being attacked within 2 spaces, meaning that she essentially has a steady breath aura-like effect, just without, you know, any of the additional stats, just the special cooldown charge. And that is quite substantial. That is a huge bonus in a weapon effect. And it also happens to be something that can be really quite useful to characters who might maybe be using something like a breath skill, which means you don't have to use that A skill slot for that, and you could run some insane builds with this and still get that special cooldown charge. I can't wait to see how supporty this Lucina is going to be. It's going to be amazing. Good God. Oh, and we haven't even touched one of the best things out there. So, Ike here, Brave Ike, is going to be your next free unit, or at least one of them. Because, of course, he is part of the Heroes Path, and towards the end you will be getting Brave Ike. Irvan got a huge change, a big one when it comes to refines. So, its base ability is still pretty much the same, where subsequent attacks will, of course, reduce his damage by 80%. Now, when you actually... I can't believe I'm having to say this. When you refine it, you'll gain a 40% damage reduction on the first hit, and also the foe, if they initiate combat, foe can make a follow-up attack before unit can counterattack. So therefore, if they happen to be able to do so, they'll be able to attack first. Now, some of you might be going, what the hell is the usage out of that? Well, remember that Irvan's special effect, the 80% damage reduction, is subsequent attacks, so meaning it has to be one after another. This forces that, meaning that you're going to get the 40% damage reduction first, and then the 80% damage reduction after the fact. Oh my god, it almost feels like Ike is going to become immortal in a lot of ways. And, you know, pairing him with Lucina, you don't even have to use Steady Breath. You could just, I don't know, give him Distant Counter and see how far that goes. Oh, Jesus Christ, this is terrifying. That is, yeah, I don't think, I wanted to really point this one out because, again, Ike is going to be your, well, one of your free units that you can get from Heroes Path, and this is absolutely one of the more insane abilities that have come out of this. And then, of course, we have Lyn. Oh, darling, brave Lyn and Muligir. Now, Muligir, well, it doesn't really change too much when you actually refine it, at least with its base stats. But at the start of turn, at least if you refine it into its special effect, and if, she happens to be faster than foe's speed, it will grant her attack, speed, defense, and res +4 during combat. It's a pretty basic ability, but still something that can be quite useful for her. As you can see, though, mine currently has a Brave Bow and for some reason does not have a command skill. I'm going to need to look into that and why that is such, but still, yeah, these refines are absolutely astonishing, and I don't really think I have to explain to you why they're so good after all of that. Seriously, Irvan, Ike is invincible, Garrus Gogol becomes a buffing genius, and then, of course, Blazing Durandal with Eliwood and Roy is going to push them even further. If you were worried about any of the Brave heroes becoming obsolete, I don't think you have to worry anymore. Seriously. That's just outrageous. But that is not the only thing we're here to talk about. We're also here to talk about those new characters that are coming out. And let me just say, special thanks to Game Press, as always, for providing the stats and all of the skills and everything, so let's go over them as quickly as possible. And a sudden cut. I apologize, but I had to do that. Make sure we have everything in line. So, alright guys, it's time to take a look at those juicy stats, by which I mean not so juicy. If you were expecting huge numbers here, I'm sure you probably feel a little bit like a fool, but still, these are dancers, guys. Ranged dancers, especially. So, yeah. But I think people might be looking at these stats and going, oh my god, this isn't very strong. But as a reminder, Ishtar and this Reinhardt are, well, along the stat lineup of a normal Reinhardt, which means that you basically have a normal Reinhardt that can now fly and comes in a variety of colors, as well as has dancing abilities, which means I'm expecting a lot of shenanigans out there. Oh boy, this is going to be a lot of fun, he said as he started crying a little bit on the inside. But seriously, Ishtar, 36 speed is not bad, especially when you compare it to the fact that her tome only gives, a little bit of a negative to speed, to, in this case, with a little bit less might. I'm expecting to see a lot of crazy things out of these two in specifics because of their tomes, as well as their variety of effects that they can actually put there. It's going to be crazy, guys. It's going to be absolutely insane. We don't really have to worry about the rest of their stats, at least when it comes to defense and res, although Reinhardt actually has a decent enough 27 defense. Should be fun to see. 21 speed, though. Oh, God. Well, he's Reinhardt. That's what he does, guys. That's how he rolls. Now, Berkut and Nephany. I'm going to just say big shout out to Berkut here, because holy crap. Berkut has 37 defense, which is actually quite high considering he's a dancer, which means that he will be able to tank things rather well and still provide those buffs that he has with his weapon, which is, a buffed up version of Performing Arts Azura and Flying Olivia's weapon. And, well, 36 attack is not bad either. So, make do with what you can. His 23 speed, however, is going to be a bit painful. Don't think about that too much, okay? Still, though, 24 res as well. Oh my god. 37 defense. Decent enough, should be really quite nice for a dancer, and he's definitely the big highlight for me, but then again, I am a Berkut fanboy. I'll just say that here. Nephany. Nephany. Here is something that I find very interesting about this. Nephany has a decent enough, and I'm going to just, strain that a bit more, decent attack lineup with attack at 35 and speed at 36. This means that she will be able to take advantage of at least some really nice hefty A skills that should allow her to do some significant damage and hopefully do it really well. I am debating if that makes her more of an offensive dancer or whatnot, but this is our first ever real bow dancer here, and she really highlights a lot of what can really go well with that. I was expecting, a 30 attack or 32 attack or something a little bit on the lower side, maybe even less speed, but she manages to pull off a good amount of attack stats that she should be able to at least knock off some enemies without too much of a hassle. So that's a plus. But that isn't the only character we're here to talk about. We're also here to talk about Rinea, and Rinea definitely has some interesting choices when it comes to her skill setup as well as her stats. 30 attack is not exactly the most, and yes, You are seeing that right. She does also have a glass, but unlike the other ones, it does not allow her to double when she initiates. So if you were expecting anything crazy from that, I'm sorry, that is not what it is. Silver Goblet Plus is what she has access to, and that will grant defense and res +4 to allies within 2 spaces during combat against bows, daggers, magic, and staff units. That means she basically has distant guard in her weapon, which can be quite useful, but still is not really the most amazing skill there. She does have dance. She is, of course, a dancer, as you expect, and because of that, she also has, in her A skill slot, Bracing Blow 2, that is defense and res +4 during combat. Okay. As well as Fire Flood Dance, that is an ability that was previously only for, I believe, Dancer Micaiah, and that, of course, is attack and res, well, attack +3, res +4 to target when danced on. So, therefore, you'll be buffing a little bit more out of that. She did not really get too much. Just as a note here, Bracing Blow is 5-star locked, and Fire Flood Dance 2 is 4-star locked. It doesn't really matter because you're going to be able to get a 5-star for free out of that as well. Her stats, well, I will say she has a decent enough res. 28 res is not bad. 30 attack is a little bit oof. But still, I'm sure a lot of you can make some excellent usage out of her. I'm a little bit sad with her stat lineup, at least in this regard, compared to the other ones. But considering she's a free unit, I guess this is going to be how it is. I know a lot of you are still going to be absolute mad fans of her, and I hope you will be, because she is quite the cutie. And I myself am really happy to see her. It's just I kind of wish she had a little bit more going on under the hood in that regard. All in all, those are your characters for 3.9, as well as your refines and everything under the sun. Do tell me what was a highlight for you guys, what you think is worthwhile when it comes to this. I would love to hear it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. Maybe check out some of the other things we do here on this channel. I would love to hear your input. For now, though, guys, I'm going to hop off. I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!